Card number 15 from the 1953 Bowman Color set. It's Jim Busby of those Washington Senators. And here he is taking a knee, and he's in the batting circle. I mean, how many times do we see guys doing this anymore? It's probably a little too dangerous to be that close these days, which is why it's cool to see it in a vintage card. This is Card Room Live. And before we get started, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I'm sure everybody's been in touch with their dads all day long. Also, happy beginning of summer. Really quickly, I was just checking the score. The Phillies are ahead of the Mets for now, so that's good news too. This is not a show. This is a hangout for fellow vintage collectors. Whether we have guests or not, and we have a whole slew of guests waiting to come in, most of the time we are wasting time looking at and talking about old cardboard through it all. We do try to make it time well wasted, and that's what we've been doing here for about 5 years now. So if you're here with us live tonight, welcome to you. Welcome to my fellow YouTubers, to the commenters, to the folks from all over social media land. This is the live stream where everybody knows your name. So if you're new to Card Room Live, don't be afraid to say hello. It may take us a few tries, but we'll learn your name soon enough. If, however, you are listening to this later, you may be going to work or maybe coming home from work, sorting cards, looking at eBay or auction sites, rolling out those meatballs, walking the dog, sitting on the john, putting the kids to bed, battling raccoons in the backyard, wondering if Eddie Wakis will come up. Well, perhaps he will in the conversation in the chat, but very unlikely to come up in what we're discussing tonight. Wondering what other kind of Mike foolery we're going to get into tonight. We'll just check the chat to figure that out. Whatever you might be doing, I hope you get something out of it. If you want to get in touch or have ideas for future sessions, you can always email me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. And you can find me on Instagram, bowman53_Alex, and a bunch of other places, which you can see in the description below. This session of Card Room Live is brought to us by our friends at Reindeer Studios. Yes, you too can go to reindeerstudios.com and get yourself a whole bunch of really great hobby-related material, custom artwork, and things that you won't find anywhere else, including YouTube t-shirts like the one you see here. And what do you know? It's a Card Room Live t-shirt. So check out reindeerstudios.com for the latest in hobby-related gear and custom cards like this shirt. So good evening to everybody. And again, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Let's check and see who's at the bar. Apparently the bar was open at 5 o'clock this evening, and it was pretty empty. Mike, thanks for being here. Stuke is here. The dog ate my card with a little bit of Eddie Wakis trivia, as has become the custom. Apparently there's chips and sauce at the bar, and there's a woman at the bar trying to pick up Eddie Wakis. She's at least going to take a shot. Oh man, that's a dad. That's a dad joke if I ever heard one. Peter B is here. Jay Hawker Vintage Cards. Reese ND Card Ranger with one eye on CRL and the other eye on the Mets-Phillies game. Sven Patrick is here. That's right, the Nada Show is starting, and there's Reindeer Studios himself. College Shot Cards is here. Peacemaker Cards. Orlando, A Collector's Dream. Melissa the Sports Guru is here. And indeed, happy Father's Day to everybody. Confluence Sports Cards is here. That's right, live from Savannah. It's Sunday night. Staven Sports Cards, Dom is here. And Ryan's Bullpen Sports Cards. Collectors World Fargo is here. Yanks Me Cards, Steve. And Dan Vintage Baseball PC is here. Southern Collector 14 is here. Reindeer Studios does rock. Nick Chen, the Iowa Collector, is here. Jacob Dahl is here. Mike Polina, Mookie Chilson, who is trying to type something in. Chef Joe Cards and the Savoy Special 96 is here. So we got a great group of folks in here. There it is. Hank's last home run, number 755, was 50 years ago next month on July 20th against Dick Drago. Very cool. Thank you, Mook. Well, apropos of that, tonight's session is all about Mr. Henry Aaron. As many of you know, I recently finished and uploaded a video all about Hank. And I reached out to a bunch of gentlemen to come on Card Room Live and share some stories and cards and memorabilia and just their appreciation for this guy. I'm going to quickly share a couple cards because I want to quickly get this up on the screen and then get out of the way so that these guys can jump on here and show us what they've got. Of course, the video that I did was inspired by this card, of course, the 54 Topps Hank Aaron, which I've had in my collection for a few years now, but really never did a video about it. And that was kind of the reason I wanted to make the video in the first place, was to sort of appreciate that particular card. Another card that I've had in my collection for some time is the 58 Topps Mantle and Aaron, which of course is just a really fun card to have both these guys on the same card, and a little piece of the history in terms of the 50s and the World Series, and one of the few World Series from that time period that didn't include a New York team, and of course, with the Milwaukee Braves in there. Two new pieces that I'm happy to share with you guys. I don't really do pickup. Sorry, I don't really do acquisition videos anymore. But I do want to share this with you guys. The 1955 Bowman Hank Aaron I picked up recently. This is a card that I've long wanted. It's been on the list for many years and finally decided to pull the trigger, in part just because I've been really spending a lot of time thinking about Hank Aaron. It just felt like it was the right time. I love this card. It's a beautiful card. And, a lot of people can go either way on this set. But I think one thing that people don't really give enough credit to this set for is the photography, because we kind of think about the TV sets, but this is a beautiful photograph. And the color is pretty astonishing. And then last but not least, and then I'm going to get these guys in here and take a look at what all these guys have in their collections, is this autographed baseball. I finally picked one up. I'm trying to be careful here in terms of where I put my fingers. This is an autographed baseball of Hank. And you can see here the inscription, 755, of course. I've been looking at a lot of Hank Aaron baseballs over the years. And I just appreciated this one for the signature itself, but also I just really like the inscription and the placement of it. There's something about this that every time I looked at, I was like, yep, I really like this one. I think this is the one. And it's authenticated, and I had a couple people look at it in addition to the official quote unquote authentication. So was happy to get that. And I feel like I have a fairly, a good Hank Aaron collection going now. But we've got some folks in here that have a lot of thoughts, opinions, and feelings about Hank, as well as some cards and some memorabilia. So let's get these guys into the room. Pastor Craig's Vintage Cards. Craig, how are you tonight?
Hey, Alex. Great. Thanks for having me on. Really looking forward to talking about Hank.
Absolutely. Great. Glad you're here. Another gentleman that's been on this live stream before. There he is. Legends never die.
What's up, guys? One thing I want to say is Happy Father's Day, but my 4-year-old son is actually downstairs watching this on TV. So shout out Luca. Hey, Luca.
Awesome. Fantastic. Who knew Dad was like a celebrity on TV, right? Fantastic. All right. We also got Matt from the Card Story. Matt, how are you tonight? Are you there, Matt?
Evening, guys. I may have to come back on. I can't hear Alex. I can hear Craig and Jake, but no one else. Let me jump off and come right back on.
Okay, cool. You're not missing anything if you can't hear me, but that's all good. We've also got Jonah, JD9 Cards. Jonah, how are you tonight?
Good, Alex. Happy Father's Day, everybody, and glad to be here with all these great Aaron collectors.
Fantastic. And last but not least, making his Card Room Live debut. It's been way too long that this hasn't happened. Mr. Tony, Southern Collector. Tony, how are you tonight?
I'm good, man. Happy Father's Day, and I do have the Reindeer Studios shirt on, so I had to show that off.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff from Mr. Reindeer. All right, guys. So let's get into it. I tried to get through that as quickly as I could. I'm excited to hear from you guys. Stories, cards, memorabilia, and here's Matt. Matt, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Alex. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that you're here. So we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff with regards to Hank. You know what? I thought, Craig, why don't we start with you? Because, I think what's kind of fun is that some of us have like firsthand memories of actually watching Hank play. Some of us maybe just grew up hearing about him and appreciate him after the fact. So if you could share some stories from your recollections of actually getting to see Hank play in person.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It was June 12th of 1975, and got this nice 75 Aaron card here. It's a special card in many ways because we went to Milwaukee County Stadium to see the Milwaukee Brewers play, and they were playing the Oakland A's, the defending World Series champions. I was fired up about that, and I got to see Hank Aaron hit home run number 739 against Vida Blue and the Oakland A's. I'll never forget, we were sitting in the lower box seats, and as a kid, you'd see the ball go up in the air, and my dad would always say, if it goes above the upper deck, it's not going to be a home run. And he'd always say to watch the outfielder, you can tell. And I remember Hank Aaron, he hit that home run, and it was like a line drive. It wasn't a rope, but it was a line drive home run, and it was just spectacular. And the greatest thing about it is that it was me, my mom and dad, my brother and my sister, and my brother was going on the Air Force about a week later. So it was the last time that we were ever together at a baseball game. And my brother and sister both passed away, and my mother's gone now too. And so just that memory of being with my brother and sister and our whole family, and to share that home run experience, it just really, it means so much. And talked to my dad today, and he's going to be 89 years old, and he's doing good. But my dad got to see Hank Aaron play for the first time in 1955, 20 years before that. And, so it was just fantastic to experience that home run with my family, and to actually see Hank Aaron hit a home run was just great. And I was lucky enough to see him hit another one on July 3rd of that year, number 741. And that was against Roger Moray. I don't know if yeah, there we go. Roger Moray, that was against the Red Sox. And of course, it was Vida Blue for the Oakland A's. So I pulled both of those pitchers' cards, but it was really cool to see the Oakland A's defending World Series champions, and then the Red Sox, who were to be playing the World Series that year. And so just to see Hank Aaron was really, really special. I was going between 6th and 7th grade, so it was kind of right in that wheelhouse of memories of still being really enthralled with a baseball player, but old enough to remember and realize what was going on. And I cherish that memory. So
right. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I love that you worked in the pitchers, because that's also part of it too, is, obviously Hank, but just being aware of what the other parts of the game were and the player teams. And I think that's really cool too.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And I actually looked up the baseball stats. Surprisingly, the attendance for both games, one was 14,000 and the other was 16,000. So pretty small crowds both nights, but I still remember that, here we are, 50 some years later almost. So.
Right. Maybe we should go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Jonah, you're probably the youngest guy in here, I would say. Can you tell us a little bit about how you first learned about Hank and how you got interested in him, and just your thoughts on him and how that's affected your collecting?
Yeah, so I grew up in Atlanta area, and I still live in Atlanta today. So just as I, grew up learning about baseball and playing baseball from a young age, going to the Braves Stadium, learning all about, the best Braves players, Hank Aaron was always at and is still at the top of that list. So I kind of always idolized him and looked up to him. He was the home run king, still is the home run king. And just, he's always been larger than life figure in baseball history. And, as I've grown older and learned more about him as a man too, I've just become even more appreciative of who he was, and he's my favorite player to collect.
Right. Fantastic. Maybe we'll hold off on you showing your card for now. How about Matt? Can you share a little bit about your connection to Hank, and maybe share a little bit of your collecting?
Sure. So for me, thanks, Alex, for having me on.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of, I born in late 70s, so grew up late 80s with ESPN. And so, they played this old television show, black and white TV show came on that they've rebroadcast in late 80s that where they had brought in some of the key players in major leagues for this, what they call the home run derby, which again, that was already happening obviously in the All-Star game and stuff, right? But I've never seen anything like it, right? So I was like mesmerized by watching these episodes, right? And basically, I don't think they replayed them like as like a marathon. You had like almost like what, tune in every week to watch one. Probably like it was back in the summer of '60 when they first aired. But anyway, that home run derby was pretty awesome, and Hank did really well. He won several of those until he got up against Wally Post. But anyway, I did a lot of research. Like I did like school projects on like Lou Gehrig, Henry Aaron. Always loved baseball growing up, right? So kind of fast forward, I player collected in the 80s and 90s. I did Sandberg back then, and then I did Utley in the 2000s, and then I did a couple other players since then. But we had kids obviously early 2000s, or I guess late aughts. And then our second kid was born in 2010 or 2011, excuse me, and that's my son Tyrus. And baseball, I got lucky. My wife let me name Tyrus Henry, so his middle name's Henry after Hank Aaron. First name Tyrus, obviously after Mr. Cobb. So
That's
he got me
an
back into
incredible
collecting.
combination.
And
Yeah.
so our first card we actually bought. He wanted me to keep it. I'm not a big fan of CGC anymore. I think a lot of people that watch my channel back in the day know this is our very first card we bought together back in like April 2022. I guess it would have been back when we got into collecting. So just like a mid-grade, I think we paid $15 for this card, but one I'll never get rid of, obviously. And I've actually got another one since then, but a little nicer copy. But so yeah, it's just been fun. We kind of went on that journey. We did YouTube for a couple of years. He's now into Pokemon cards. He kind of went through comic books, a bunch of other things since then too, Funko Pops. We did a little bit of everything on our channel just to kind of spend time together. Now he's in the teenage years, so we have kind of drifted apart in terms of doing videos together. But I did manage to get this kind of that first few months we got into collecting Hank Aaron, and this is the from the Home Run Derby TV show. I know we got to show some cards here for the people watching. So yeah, this is part of the. I got one of those stupid stickers, and then you tell I bought it from PWCC before the Fanatics buyout. But actually, I got it from 154, but the original person bought it from PWCC back in the day. So really happy to have that. That was one of the first big Hank Aaron cards I picked up back in 2022. Luckily, I bought it back then too. They've gone crazy since then. So but yeah, I've been collecting Hank Aaron for years since, and then I kind of had to go to other players because I got a lot of the stuff pretty quickly, and then kind of went into some of his teammates, Matthews and Spawn. So
Right.
and now doing some pre-war stuff. So a little bit of everything. Things have changed over the years, but he's been I'll buy whenever there's big auctions coming up. There was a couple of Mile High auctions that had just a treasure trove of items. So I was able to get several things I've never even seen before. So that was exciting back earlier this year even. So still on the hunt, still a few more things to get, but I'd say about 90% of the cards out there for Hank Aaron. So lucky to have them.
Awesome. Are we going to get to see some of that tonight?
Well, let's let some other folks talk, but yeah, I got a few,
Okay.
I got a few things pulled out. So
Good stuff. Okay, Jake, how about you?
Yeah, so keeping things kind of family oriented on Father's Day. I'm a big Sandlot fan. I was born in 91. My nanny had 3 movies growing up. That's my paternal grandmother. She had Remember the Titans, which is my brother's favorite movie. She had The Sandlot, which was my favorite. And then a movie we weren't allowed to watch called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? But in The Sandlot, right? Growing up, that movie is about friendship and playing baseball and all of those things. And, I always wanted a Babe Ruth autograph because of that movie. And I didn't realize till years later that it had a connection to my team and Hank Aaron because I always wanted to get a Ruth auto, right? That's the man that Aaron was chasing for all of those years. So I got one of those. And in the movie, there's a scene when Benny's about to pickle the beast and Babe Ruth comes out of his closet and talks to him as a ghost. And he's looking around Benny's room as he's talking. And right before he leaves, he says, Henry Aaron, hey, Keed, I don't know why, but can I hold on to this? And that was the Hank Aaron rookie card, right? And Babe sticks it in his back pocket and takes it with him. And ultimately, the tie into baseball history is Aaron would break Ruth's home run record. And then someday in the future, as of this Father's Day, I'm the only owner of the Luca rookie card that will break Aaron's record as the true home run king.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. So that was my first connection to Aaron and learning about him, going from there as a young collector. And I always loved the history, even as a little kid. And wow, there's a guy that broke a record from Babe Ruth from my team. How cool is that?
Right.
Yeah.
And got more into the vintage and things like that. And I've got a lot of Aaron stuff behind me Not as much as maybe some of these guys, but I've got some cool Aaron stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's something too that I really respect, which is if that's your team and your guy did that, it makes it all the more special. So I can totally appreciate that. Yeah, Tony, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm a little older than some of you guys and not as old as others. So I was born in '69, and so I was right when I was a kid, man, right at the end of Aaron's reign, in 75, 76 is when I started kind of watching baseball. I don't really remember it, but in 77 and 78 is when I started buying cards. So I just missed his card run. But when I was a kid, there was book fairs, and you would have the little magazine and you could pick your books. And I always picked the baseball history stuff. And Hank Aaron, there was a book in our library, even I probably checked that book out like 10 times, and I loved reading it. The 1973 Aaron, the Topps Aaron, where he's fielding with the flip up sunglasses on. I remember as a kid seeing that at a flea market in a box, and this would have been 79, 80. And I wanted that card so bad. I didn't have enough money. But yeah, he's always been a guy. And to go through what he went through, to come from the background he came from, Mobile, Alabama, same place that Satchel Paige came from, grew up in the same neighborhood down the bay, and just grew up a poor black kid. Remembered his mother telling him and his brother to run inside and lay on the floor because the KKK was coming through with some torches, and just happened to be still and not be seen. To go from that to the home run king is insane, man. And to do it the way he did it, and a lot of people don't realize this, and you just got done reading the books. You read the same book I did. He got the record amount of mail the U.S. Postal Service has ever sent during that home run chase.
Right.
And most of it wasn't nice. So, some of it was. But yeah, he was thrust into something he didn't really deserve. He was just trying to play baseball, man. He was a machine, but just an amazing player, amazing man, did it with dignity and grace. And, one of the things in that book that I read that blew me away that I'd never heard before was when the home run went over the fence. And who was it that caught it? Tom House?
Tom House.
Yeah, so he runs it in, and Aaron, his mother's draped on him, and he said he saw this strong man that had so much dignity, and everybody was almost scared of in the clubhouse because he was like this god of a guy, and he had a tear running down his face. And later, Dusty Baker told him the reason his mom was hugging him so tight was to protect him from a sniper's bullet.
Yeah.
So when those two dudes ran out beside him at shortstop, it was going through his mind, them guys are trying to kill me. And then the dude in the camera well had a pistol. His bodyguard had a pistol hidden in a binocular case that he had a split-second decision. Do I pull this out and shoot those guys? So that was how tense this was, and he pulled it off, man. So just a little bit of why this dude is special. And when I got back in the hobby about 5-6 years ago, the first thing I did when I discovered eBay was do a Hank Aaron run. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I don't know if you want me to show stuff now or you.
Yeah, please, Tony, go. Let's make that transition. Go for it.
All right. So y'all may not know this, but I like autograph stuff. So I've got the the prerequisite autograph baseball.
There you are, yeah.
And of course, it's in a ballpoint pen. It's not in a Sharpie. And then, so I'm trying to build I've already built his entire run, not signed, but I want to build it signed, but with a caveat. I want it to be built with ballpoint pen autos only. So there's an extra degree of difficulty. And so this is one, it's the J Publishing, and just a great, it's oversized, but great card, got a great auto. Then we jump. I don't have all of them yet, but sure. I've got this one right here. I'm gonna need to put my glasses on. So I'm trying to just do the main cards, but this one was cool because it talks about him setting the home run mark and autoed. Then we got the 75. It's got a auto. What I liked about the ballpoint pens is when it's indented, or you can see it right there.
Yep.
So the hand of the dude who swung that bat did that. Now this card, when I was a kid, I was more focused on Babe Ruth. I thought this was a Babe Ruth card, but I made an exception for this one too because Hank Aaron signed right across Babe Ruth's picture. Thought that was cool.
That's great.
And then this is the card I remember as a kid at the flea market,
Right.
and just a fantastic autograph. Again, really indented in the cardboard. Then I got to 72. He signed a lot of his cards vertically like that. So this is I love the design of the 72s as well. And then we got the 1970s. A lot of people make fun of the image. It looks like they kind of caught him off guard there. He looks a little surprised. But yeah, again, love the ballpoint pen. And then we got to 69. This is the year I was born. And same image, I believe, is what's on the 68. I still got the ones that aren't signed. When I get a signed card, I do sell the unsigned one. I don't keep doubles. That one's really bold. And the 66. Then we got the 65. Love the 65 design with the pennant. And then we've got the 64 and a really bold blue ballpoint on that one. And then we got I actually bought a 63. It's supposed to get here Tuesday. It ain't here yet. The 62, again, awesome autograph. And then we got the 61. And this is the card on this one is amazing. Like,
yeah, it looks great.
With the card grade is awesome. We got the 60. Now this one is notoriously off center, but it was a really strong autograph. And when I collect autographs, I'm more about the autograph boldness than I am actually the card. This one's a 57. I picked it up off eBay, and it is not graded, but I got it in a penny sleever card holder. One touch, and just a great autograph. It is JSA certified. This one is one of my boldest, and it's the 56.
Oof, wow.
Yeah.
And just a great one. Of course, we all know the deal with that's Willie Mays sliding in there.
Yep.
Personally, I would have took Hank over Willie. That's just me. So, and then my last one, and again, Jonah has a little bit of connection to this. He's the original buyer of this, and it ended up in my hands. This right here. So let me set this up right here. This is the famous photo that Ed Scott, the Negro League scout, took of a young Henry Aaron on the train platform in 1952. When he signed him with the Indianapolis Clowns, he was on his way to Winston-Salem to meet the Indianapolis Clowns. I think the first game was actually right here in Nashville. In that satchel right there is like a sandwich, a glove, and like $3. And that's all he had. He had never ridden on a train. And look at that. Look at that face right there. That guy right there. 2 years later, he's on a Topps card, and it's a rookie. And to me, it's the best Topps rookie of all time. And he signs this card in 1954. In 1954 is the only year he signed with that curly QH. All the rest of them, he signed with the straight H in the swoop. This is the only one I've ever seen that that's JSA. I'm going to get it graded this year at the National. I don't want to ship it, but it's got the curly QH. The only way, and Jonah knows about this too, the only place you'll find that H style is on his rookie contract or a rookie team ball. And you can find those balls on eBay. So 2 years after this photo was taken, he signed this card right here.
Right.
So there's like 400 Aaron rookies in the PSA population that are signed. Most of them are the blue Sharpie. And I call it the old man signature when it's kind of shaky.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I've ever seen that is actually a rookie signature. So it's extremely special in my mind. So anyways, I feel blessed to own that, and that one will never leave my hands. Sorry, Jonah. But if it ever did, I'd sell it back to Jonah because he wants it back real bad. So I appreciate y'all staying with me for that.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alex, question like, why did you invite me and Craig? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, all right, Jake, how about you go next?
Oh, I can't. Don't make me follow that. Come on. That's why I led off with my Babe Ruth autograph and my Hank Aaron rookie.
Right. Hey
Yeah, I've
man,
got a-
you know what? The thing about this is that everything we have is special because of
It
the guy
is.
that it represents,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Mhm.
So like I love the Perez steel autographs. I
Sure.
collect those, and love the uniform that Hank was in on that one. You know, that's the uniform he was wearing when he broke the record. I'm actually wearing my Hank Aaron hat. This is the old City Connects, and they did that in honor of Hank Aaron. Inside it is a special design that makes it look like a crown when you're wearing it on your head
Oh,
because
nice.
Hank Aaron's the true home run king. I've got a Hank Aaron ball. I know a couple of us shown those already.
Yeah.
Mine is a little bit of an older signature, not as old as Tony's on his rookie card, but it's not a Hal. Hank
Yep.
Aaron. I've got the run of his 50s cards. I won't show all those of his base tops and his inserts and most of the 60s, but I will show these. I love 5-star autographs.
Oh yeah.
And the
Great.
first 2 years, especially for Hank, are pretty popular, fairly tough. There's a little over 200 of those, but there was only 30 of the base autograph in 2013. Again, in that awesome uniform. So I love those. And a silver signatures
Nice.
autograph. And then just a couple little oddball things. You know, the 66 rub-offs.
Yeah, cool.
Show that of Hank. Then he's got cards in like Post and Jello, stuff like that. That's a 61. Then he's got things like, you know, the stamps, top
Yeah.
stamps, 62. And then even coins, you know, from 64. So Hank Aaron was, you know, in a lot of different things. He wasn't in my beloved Redman sets in the 50s.
Sure. Oh,
But
that'd be special.
He was, you know, in the Johnston Cookies in 54 and 55. I don't have either of those yet. He was in Topps and Bowman in 55 and Topps throughout the years. He's on tons of leaders cards in the 60s, and he's, you know, got cards up through the 70s. He played for so long, such a long career, not comparable to many other guys to have so many different base issues and in the different Topps test issues or like double headers in 55. Aaron's got a lot of cool stuff out there.
Right. Jake, you don't have to show your whole run, but if you could pick out like maybe two or three of like your all-time favorite Aaron cards from like his mainstream cards.
So I love 57 because it's a reverse negative and Aaron's a right-handed player, but I'm left-handed.
Oh, nice.
So I love the 57 for that reason. It's the one
Sure.
time you can see Henry as a lefty. So I always thought that was cool. And then 56. It's my favorite set. It was the first vintage set I ever built. So this was my first vintage playing days Aaron card was
Nice.
56.
Sweet. Okay, Matt, let's go to you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a couple things just from friends in the YouTube community to help me find a couple items. So I think Stuke's a wrench holder around here.
Yes, he is.
He helped me find this at the Dallas Card Show
Oh, wow.
back in, I think it was May 23. Scott, keep me honest here, but it was ungraded at the time. I submitted it to PSA then and got it back. That's a 61 post serial panel. It's missing the top. There was like a little thing at the top, one of the, just a label. No other players were supposed to be on it. And then my buddy Dave, Legend of the Dugout, found this
Yeah.
for me in the 24 National in Cleveland.
Beautiful.
Think about a couple items for Craig there as well. But I love this. This is the preferred products from 57 to 60. It's just a great image of them. Hold the
Yeah,
bat.
yeah.
So super happy to have that. Another one Scott found for me at the same card show. I call this like the Dexter card. This is the Swift Meats from 57.
Right.
Just a really cool card. I mean, obviously the kids pick these apart and can create these little players. This body parts. It's kind of an odd card, but I always like the interesting cards like that.
Yep.
I got to show my requisite rookie card. I don't actually have a ball. This is my 54 Aaron. So
Nice.
OC, we kept it though. Still have it. So happy to have the 54. Alex, congrats on your Bowman.
Oh yeah. Hey,
we have a
that's
nice
beautiful.
little great copy too. But this is what a great image of Aaron. I love that's
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite base cards of his. We'll talk about Bowman a little bit later. Jake has to see this one. I know he enjoys seeing this one every time.
Speak and span.
The die cut for Jake.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, man,
man.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
love
it.
that
There.
one.
On that one.
I like oversized. If you guys haven't figured that out by now, watch my channel. Another oversized item I got. The Manny's Land photo. I think it's just awesome from 61.
Yeah.
These were sold like at a New York kind of like sporting goods store. They sold photos for like pennies on the dollar. I mean, still cool items. Happy to have those. This is the and it's coming up whatever you guys want. This is the Action All Stars from 68. Tops test issue. Happy to have that one. I'm sure you guys like Bazooka. Who doesn't like Bazooka? I'm so sad to hear Tops sold it off or Fanatics sold it off once they
That's a
bought
great
Tops.
one.
But
Love that.
there's the 59, the white letter.
Matt, can you hold that up again, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Super cool.
that is
Yeah.
one of my favorite images.
And that one actually got a number grade. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care about grades anymore. I used to care, but that was like someone wrote in the back. Someone had the set of 8 for these for $1. That was a heck of a bargain.
Dang.
Not the whole set, but I guess 8 of them that were selling at one time for $1. I paid a little more than that. And then this is the yellow letter. My friend Dave found for this at the 24 National in Cleveland as well. I was able to get that. 60 Bazooka.
Nice.
Cool image. He wasn't in 61 or 62. This is mislabeled. You know, the grading companies love to mislabel things. That's 63. There's a 64. 65. Again, just coming off whenever, Alex is fine. They did, this was, I have the panel for both. They're 66, 67 on 2 different panels, but he was number 9 in both. It's confusing. You can't really tell the difference. The 68. And then in 71, there were 2 versions. This is like the more common one. It's the unnumbered version. And then there's the numbered one. It's more like the test one that they do a whole lot of those. So that's the entire Bazooka run. I have all the panels except for one. I need the 60 panel. If anyone ever sees it, let me know. Another fun one.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Hires Root Beer. That's the one with tab. I have it without tab. I know Craig likes this set as well. I think he might have I know Stuke has a couple Packers from this. This is the Lake to Lake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have one kind of held up in grading, and I bought another one. So I bought, so they redeemed a lot of these. They came from the milk carton. That's why there's staples there, and it looks really bad. I have one that actually did the stamp on the back for the Lake to Lake Dairy when it got redeemed, but it's
So
stuck
what was
between.
that? Is that off a milk carton?
It's on a milk carton, yeah. And so
Okay.
you redeemed this for like either tickets to, you got 100. If you had 100 cards, then you got 2 tickets for a Braves game.
When you
That's
get the
amazing.
otof one, the second one can come to North Carolina.
Oops.
Like I said, this one will be up for sale. You know, and I don't need to have all. You know, two of them. One's enough, but and then I did have the root beer one with just up the tab as well, right? So
Right.
anyway, I'll let someone else take a turn. I do have one other item to show later, but we can do it whenever, Alex.
Sure. Yeah. Who else has got some stuff that hasn't made it up on the screen yet?
Craig, you better hurry, man.
Yeah. I'll go real quick. I'll go real quick. This is one of my favorite cards here.
Oh yeah.
The Fence Busters. And the thing that's really, really cool about this is the fact that, Eddie Matthews was the manager when Hank hit number 715. And I just think it's awesome that their careers are so intertwined, that he was the manager. And I think the story, I'm pretty sure it's a little fuzzy, but I believe that he closed off the locker room for about 20 minutes to let Aaron and his family just celebrate the moment. And Matthews caught a lot of funk from major leagues for not letting reporters in to see Hank Aaron. But, Eddie Matthews, his old teammate, took care of him. And it's a nice league leader card here, but you don't see a lot with Matthews and Aaron together on league leader cards. You see a lot of Hank Aaron, but this is a really cool one with Banks, Aaron, and Matthews. And the cool thing about Aaron and Matthews is they hold the record for most home runs hit together as teammates. 863 home runs together as teammates. Next would be Ruth and Gehrig with 859.
Wow.
And the other cool thing is that Aaron and Matthews hold the record for most home runs together in a game with 76. and Ruth and Gehrig have 75. So they were fantastic teammates. And I know that as you read the book, they were vastly different people
Yeah.
and vastly different lifestyles, but they were very, very tight. And I love the fact that Matthews was his manager when he hit number 715. I think that's just poetic. I think it's baseball poetry.
Yeah,
That
right.
those two guys were together for so long, World Series champions together. They won together, they lost together, and at Hank's crowning moment, there was Eddie Matthews to celebrate that with him. And but two guys from two totally different backgrounds, but yet were perfect for each other and complemented each other to the nth degree. And I love that. And I want to show something real quick. I got this 59 from Darren, Return to Collecting. I love getting cards from guys in the hobby. And this I got from Jake. And yep. And I also got a 56 from Jake. I've got a lot of cards from Jake, but that also is my favorite card. And I know Jake showed us as well. But when you think of Aaron, you gotta think of Eddie Matthews too. And they just go together. So
Yeah.
And I love that.
And Hank Aaron is part of a brother duo that has the record for the most home runs by a pair of brothers.
Yeah.
His brother Tommy hit 13.
Yeah. He chipped in a little bit on. Yeah.
Tommy's in the record book, dude. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Can I show a couple more?
Please go for it, Tony.
All right, these aren't autographed, so don't hate me. But when I was a kid, I thought, man, and so I got this one. It's a beater, but it's the yellow Aaron.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Aaron. I just think that's so cool, having the yellow. And then this one is so underrated. Like I showed it a while ago, having the all-time home run. And I remember this was printed before he hit it. So, that was a little bit of a risk. Of course, you got, I agree. This is his best normal, I don't know what you call it, the best oddball, whatever you call them, release. That I love that image. Yeah. And then let's not forget the back. So when I was a kid, the guys, their last card, having to look with your microscope to read all of the stats, to me was so cool, man. So let's not forget the backs. I've always said the backs are the soul of the card. So So let's not forget that. So that I just wanted to show those real quick.
Awesome. Jonah, you're holding out on us. Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll just give a little background first. But when I was starting collecting and beginning to learn about cards at the age of like 10, I remember going on eBay and I searched up, Hank Aaron's rookie card, 1954 tops. And as I was just scrolling through the eBay list, I had no clue about anything. So I asked my mom, why is this Hank Aaron card $3 and why are these $1,000? And she told me, this one says it's a reprint. And, I had no clue what a reprint was, couldn't tell the difference. And just by looking at it that I can now with looking at these cards for years. But I think, Aaron's rookie has always kind of been my dream card. And I was able to get one of the 54 tops when I came back into the hobby after about a year. And ever since then, I just kind of continued looking at his cards. And, I eventually learned that he had a card before 1954, which it took me maybe 3 years of being in the hobby before I even learned about it. And, I'll show it here now, but this is his 1952 postcard from JJK Postcards. And they have a set. Jackie Robinson has a postcard from this company as well, but this is Aaron with the Indianapolis Clowns from 1952. And there's only 2 of these. So I'm super, super grateful to get the opportunity to own this card. And, I think it's his best card ever made. And, I don't know, he's just so young here. As Tony showed that image of him getting on the train, and Ed Scott took that image, and this actually was Ed Scott's card. This came from his scrapbook. And so it took it out of the scrapbook. I'll show the back here. not too much to see. It says photo postcard, and there's little scrapbook damage is why this one graded a 2, but it's super cool to have the provenance on this. Ed Scott was the scout in Mobile who discovered who Hank Aaron was, and called up Sid Pollock and started that journey. So I think that's super cool to have that provenance, and just makes this card of Aaron even more special.
Jonah, move that closer to the camera so we can get a good look at him.
Yes, please. Oh my
Look at
goodness.
That's one of the best cards in the whole hobby, man.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Jonah, because it comes from a postcard set, can you talk a little bit more about what else is in that, and like
So
what was
there's no set. There's a few other postcards of Indianapolis Clowns players throughout the Clowns lifespan, none from that year.
okay.
So this is just kind of a one-off. There was a couple letters between Sid Pollock and Ed Scott that a fellow collector on Net54 showed me, where they talked about promoting Hank Aaron and getting him recognition in the media so he could eventually get signed, an MLB contract. And so that, I believe, in the letters they talk about what they would do for that promotion, of putting him in the newspaper and making some photos of him. And I think, they said that in, I think it was mid-May, 1952, and a following letter on July 4th of 1952, they said they sent some postcards to Aaron and his father. So pretty sure, that's the postcard that they sent. And
right.
a few were definitely in the Aaron family for a while. I'm sure they no longer exist. But they definitely made more than 2 of them. I don't think they were ever given out. The only other one was from Sid Pollock's collection. So I think they were just kind of a internal promotional items. So not really sure about the distribution, but it's
Right.
cool to have that little background to know they are from when he actually was with the Clowns in 1952.
Yeah,
My
that's
biggest-
incredible.
we all have misses, right? My biggest miss, that photo of Aaron on that train platform was
Mhm.
on an auction like a year or 2 ago.
It was
And
in
I
the
should've-
same
I-
auction.
Yeah, I should have sold like so much stuff to get that, because to me that is a piece of history, just like Jonah's card, that is insane. I don't know who owns it now, but man, that should be in a museum.
I know the Negro League Baseball Museum has one of I think there's
Okay,
2 of
good.
them. I know they have one.
Any idea how many games he played for the Clowns, approximately?
I do not know how many games. I know he played most of that whole season, and then he got signed, and they brought him back to finish the season. They won the championship that season, and he was hitting like 350 and
Yeah.
leading the team in all the stats. So I'm not sure how many games, but I think it was probably over 30 to 50.
Wow.
It was several months.
hmm
So
It's cool that the card itself is obviously awesome, but that you've tracked down some information about the origins of it and the story behind why it was made, to me makes it even more interesting. And the fact that it wasn't just sort of a random creation, but they actually were trying to directly promote him and try to get him, to get his career started, to me just makes that all the more special. It's really, really
Yeah.
awesome.
I have the newspaper on my wall. I could maybe take it down and see if you can read it real quick, but it's the
We've
same
got time.
image.
Yeah, we've got time. Go ahead.
Let's see. I don't know how much you can read
Oh,
of this,
gosh.
but
Yeah.
this was also from Ed Scott's scrapbook. So he took out, this is a scrapbook page. I would assume maybe on the next page, the postcard was right next to it. But here's, that same image. And I have the printing plate of this image you can see it says, Henry Aaron, flashy shortstop of Clowns. And the
Right.
printing plate has those same words on the side. So I believe that printing plate was maybe for some broadside posters, potentially, that I've never seen the light of day since they were made. But there's that image, and there's a couple other news clippings here that mention Aaron with the Clowns. So I tried to find these clippings on newspapers.com, but I couldn't wasn't able to locate them at all. So I think they're probably a local black paper most
Sure.
likely, and that's why they're not in newspapers.com. But yeah, super cool to have this pairing with the postcard as well.
Yeah, I wonder if you actually went like, and I am totally suggesting you do this, Jonah, is like actually go to and like find the local
Yeah.
historical society and stuff, and you might be able to dig it out of a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
There's probably a ton of stuff that hasn't been digitized.
Yeah, I've had my mom frame this up for me for my Christmas present this year. So I bought like a $5 reprint of that postcard on eBay and had it put in the frame.
Nice.
So I thought it was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, crazy stat is he never played a game in the city of Indianapolis. The Clowns didn't play there. They were just a traveling team with that name. So pretty wild.
Yeah, and Sid Pollock lived in like Tarrytown, New York, right outside New York City. So he wasn't even really around the team at all. He was just their promoter. It was interesting. And that postcard, JJK postcards, they're from like New York City. I think it's like James J. Kriegsman is the name of the producer. So I saw that, he did a lot of work at the time for black movie stars, musicians, and athletes, and that was pretty rare at the time for a white person to make promotional materials of black people. So I think it kind of makes the story tracks that he lived in close to New York City. He had some postcard made of Aaron, because it's definitely not a photo of Aaron. They have definitely like around his hands and feet are not an image, but it's definitely his face. So they definitely kind of had some artist renditions there.
Yeah. Ed Scott also stayed involved while he was with the Clowns. And actually it came down between Milwaukee and the New York Giants on who he was going to sign with in Major League. So he was almost in the outfield with Willie Mays.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can show a couple other things that
Please go for it.
So, Tony mentioned that 1954 signed Aaron that he has. So this is a 1954 spring training Milwaukee Braves and Red Sox ball. So you can see Henry Aaron right here in that curly H that Tony was mentioning is how you can, you can tell by some of these other players on here that it was from the spring training of 1954. And it's cool to see full Henry, as he kind of dropped signing that pretty quickly in his career, as the media referred to him as Hank. So I haven't seen many balls signed Henry Aaron, maybe less than 5. I haven't looked super hard, but they certainly are a lot more rare than seeing Hank fully. And then I just brought a couple of his Topps playing cards that a few people have given me over the years that I hope to start my son when I have a son one day and start his collection with these. So
awesome.
Super cool to kind of start that tradition and hopefully get him into cards as well one day.
He has no choice.
Yeah.
We can decide that, right? Well, guys, we're just about out of time, but I want to thank all of you guys for coming on tonight and sharing some of this stuff. We probably could go a few more hours, but incredible stuff and great stories. And, what I think is really awesome about each of your collections is that it's not just the collections, it's the appreciation of the man and the story that is kind of behind all of them. And I think that's kind of important in this hobby. So I appreciate y'all sharing those stories and those cards. Appreciate everybody in the comments as well. It's been really busy in there tonight. So thanks guys for all the great comments. Tony, Craig, and Jake, Jonah, and Matt, thanks guys for coming on tonight.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back next Sunday night, guys. Until then, check out For Collectors at 9. The bar is closed. I'll see you next Sunday, guys. Have a great week. And again, happy Father's Day, everybody.